2020 was a landmark year, and I'm so proud of how the business worked its way through the global pandemic, continued to keep our people safe and deliver for our customers, while at the same time we were able to deliver on the sale of oil and gas and so complete our transformation. As we enter 2021, Weir's 150th anniversary, we're in great shape with a crystal clear strategy and absolute focus on how we can deliver the value from that strategy. I would just like to thank all of our people and all of the other stakeholders who've supported Weir through what has been an absolutely remarkable time. In terms of the specifics of the 2020 performance, for me, once again, was the standout, was the further improvement in our safety performance from what were already world-class standards, and to see ESCO making significant further progress was absolutely great to see. More work to do there, but we continue on our journey towards zero harm. In terms of the financials, the business once again demonstrated its incredible resilience with our revenues and profits broadly flat on 2019, which of course was supported by a £40 million cost saving program as we responded quickly at the beginning of the pandemic. And once again, the cash generation was strong and supported by the sale of oil and gas. We end 2020 with our balance sheet in a much better place with pro forma net debt to EBITDA of 1.7 times and further cash generation to come. So a truly resilient performance in the circumstances. And as we enter 2021, Weir's 150th anniversary, we've closed the sale of the oil and gas division, which is a milestone moment for the business. And as I've said before, I believe a truly win-win outcome for Weir and for the oil and gas division and its people and new owners. And beyond that sale, we now have absolute strategic clarity in terms of the go-forward business. And we're playing into markets where I think we will see three very powerful structural tailwinds over the next few years. First of all, just the underlying demographics of population growth, urbanization, and rising living standards, which will increase demand for the commodities that we're exposed to producing. Secondly, decarbonisation and electrification as the world tackles climate change, which will drive increased demand for copper, lithium, nickel, and the other battery metals, which form a large part of what we do. And finally, a mining industry which has set ambitious net zero targets and has many other ESG challenges that they need to deliver on, which will require transformation. It will require new technology and innovation. And we're very, very excited at the role that Weir will have to play as a leading provider of innovative technology to the mining industry over the next several years. As we move forward as a mining technology provider, we are today setting new medium-term performance goals, which includes growing our revenues faster than our markets, expanding our operating margins by 150 basis points over the next 3 years, both of which will improve our return on capital, while at the same time delivering on our ambitious sustainability strategy. And I'll come on to talk a little bit more in a moment about the external aspects of that, but from an internal performance perspective, we are targeting reducing our CO2 emissions by 30% in 2024 and 50% in 2030 on our way to net zero by 2050. And all that will be done in the context of our new refreshed capital allocation framework, which we're also announcing today. Turning to our markets, I'm very optimistic for the medium term. I think the structural trends that I mentioned earlier are only going to accelerate. And then over the last several years, I think mining capex has not been particularly strong. There's been underinvestment, and I think there will be need for a catch-up. When you look at the average machine age out there at the moment, it's almost at the highest it's ever been. And then finally, the theme that we've always talked about in terms of declining ore grades remains a factor and will continue to be in the future as the mining industry searches for ever more challenging deposits to exploit. As far as the short term is concerned, the momentum that we saw at the beginning of the fourth quarter continued, with overall fourth quarter orders up 14% sequentially on the third quarter. And we've had a good start to 2021 with that momentum continuing. And our pipeline of bids continues to build. So that's very encouraging. I would caution about the ongoing COVID pandemic and the potential for disruption across the business from time to time. So there's a little bit of uncertainty about how that's going to unfold. But from an overall outlook perspective, while we're not giving detailed guidance, we would expect to deliver growth in constant currency profits over the course of this year, subject to any further disruption from COVID.